Hi and welcome to our Cozy Corner. Here we talk about game dev and how we want to create our future studio. This is part 1 of Game Dev Pitfalls.
But first, let's get cozy. What happens to me very often as a game developer is to start something and then get overwhelmed. I either start too many mechanics at the same time, just have too many things going on in parallel, like from audio to game design to UI to coding to management to tasks and everything. And it's very difficult and you just want to stop.
Yeah, I totally relate. I feel like when I have these type of projects, I realize how much there might be to do in the future. And then I'm just overwhelmed by how much it will be and how uncomfortable I am with most of those. And that I've never done that before. And these type of things, these uncertainties can be very scary and usually are the reason why you will not do them in the end, in my case especially. But sometimes the times in our lives in which we are certain of the outcome, I think never happen. And so I think we want to get more comfortable with the uncertainty and just going into the process without overthinking it. Because creating a mountain out of one small game jam might not be the right thing for us to progress and to learn things.
That's why it's good to know the goal of your task and the product. To bring more certainty to your process is to have clear expectations and goals. Because, as you mentioned, in a game jam, you don't create a mountain, but you have this small hill that you want to conquer and have small, easy tasks to create a small game in the end.
After you know what you want to get out of it, what the main goal of the project is, break it down into smaller steps because it gives you this type of roadmap of what you want to do on the way. And sometimes the nice thing about working in a team is that someone might be more comfortable doing one thing than the other. And the energy and effort that is invested in one task might be much bigger for the other one. And so if it's easier for you or for me, then I can do, for example, when it's about our YouTube journey, he is really good at posting the video, at writing the description, at doing all those steps to reach you. But then when it's about the comments and when it's about maintaining the community and the people that are joining us, it is easier for me to do that interaction. And so we kind of share these tasks in a way that is comfortable for both of us and doesn't require too much effort. Another pitfall that I think we all know is when we worked on something for a long time, but then didn't really document the process in order for us to remember when we get back to it after a month, for example. And I know that for my part, on the art side, it's not that hard to remember what I drew, but when it's about organizing my files, that's where it gets hard. But in coding, how do you help yourself in these situations?
In coding, it's very, very often that people forget to write comments because it's not the interesting part. You often want to dive into the mechanics and the code and see the visuals, and people skip the comments. I did that for a long time, but for me it helped to discipline myself to write comments because I like to see it as I talk to the future me. And when the future me gets into the code after one day or a month or 1 year, I want to see what the method do, why I named a variable A. Okay, I have variable A that in the end is very important because it decides the whole fate of the game. But it's called A. Either comment down what it means or name it accordingly, like can start or is playable. Is paused. This is usually how I deal with this situation.
It can really be frustrating when you try to start working on a project again, but frankly don't know what things are. And that's just such a blocker because you want to make progress. I mean, it's amazing that we even have the energy to try to do something new around it. But then these small things that just stop us from easily continuing and actually acting on this newfound motivation really just get up.
My personal experience with this is that when I'm on a roll with coding, I don't stop and add comments. I just got used to naming the variables accordingly. But then in the end of the day, when I'm too tired to continue the coding, I write down comments on what those methods do.
So you basically plan in time for you to organize your code? So like you have this review session after to look at it for yourself?
Yeah, in my full-time job, we have reviews each other, but when I do it myself, I review it with me, which is sad, I know. But I have this, I apply this talking to a duck thing. Maybe you know it.
Yeah.
If you don't know what it is, it's like you have this rubber duck and then you just talk to it. You explain to the rubber duck your code. I treat myself as rubber duck or sometimes her.
It's code, but it helps him to organize his thoughts.
Yay.
Another pitfall that I think many of us feel is the lack of enough motivation to get progress done. And motivation is this stupid thing that is depending on our emotions, and emotions are finite. It's not the place to depend yourself on to create something and to make progress. What we like to try to implement in our workflow is this stupid term called discipline. Discipline does not regard emotions, it doesn't regard your excitement or your lack of excitement around a task. It just asks you to do it. And it can be hard in the beginning to try to ignore that feeling of, nah, I don't wanna, but it will create the possibility of you actually making progress in one rhythm or another. Whether it's short, whether it's fast, whether it's very efficient or very slow, it still is progress and it does bring you somewhere, and it will get easier to just bring it into your routine and make it a must do for the day, even if it's just 1%.
Exactly, but do you have like a clearer solution for this?
What helps us a lot is to hold each other accountable to something. So this works even with that rubber duck or with friends or a community that you tell that you want this type of goal at some point. So I want at the end of this month to be able to post 2 more game jams and to have final games on each IO. So these people know it and they might ask me about it. And if I haven't done it yet, then it will be this positive reinforcement to, okay, you should get doing it. I think it's important to hold ourselves accountable. It's this type of small promise to yourself that you want to reach this goal. And it might be one of the smaller steps in between the big goals, or it might be the big one. Generally, it's good to keep that promise to yourself. And it might be hard when you're the only one that is controlling or looking at what you're doing. So we also recommend that you speak to a dear one, a friend, a community, and let this person know, dude, I want to get this done by the end of this month. And to ask them to ask me every day or every week if I got something done. And this is this positive stress that will make you feel like, okay, I'm under pressure, I need to get this done.
Hey you, maybe you haven't noticed, but we have a game on Steam! Woohoo! It's a demo only, but you can download it and play it, and it would mean the world to us if you could leave us a review.
A great example for the next pitfall that we have is actually this game, which is overpolishing it before having a gameplay. So we started creating this game, Find Eden, with so much excitement and so much motivation about it, and we knew exactly how it was supposed to look. And because I'm very into the style that we chose for this game, I started drawing right away and I was obsessed with everything it was supposed to be looking like, and I kind of pulled him into that. And we focused a lot on how the game looks, feels, and less on gameplay, interesting puzzles, and the actual reason why you play it.
Because from the coding perspective, I tried to make it so adaptable to animations and to just the atmosphere and the vibe that I kind of neglected the actual gameplay and the loop itself. Also, Find Eden being a story game, it's difficult to have a game loop and you need to tweak every step how the story is going to look like. Because you cannot just create a script that does everything for you, and you cannot ask ChatGPT to generate those scripts for you, and every event from the game needs to be tailored to the situation and the vibe that you want to transmit, and we spend a bit more time on the vibe the game wants to have.
Yeah, you can't reuse something that you already created in a new place in the game. You can try, but it's harder because you need to adapt to the storyline that you have to prepare before. And it's very tempting when you're a very visual person to focus a lot on the polishing of the game. And it's great, frankly, when the game doesn't look good, the quality of the game is directly affected. So me as a player wouldn't be attracted to something that looks unpolished. But if the game is polished, looks amazing, but then the play is horrible and rigid and not adaptable, then I wouldn't want to play it either. So it needs to be balanced. And packaging shows the product. That's kind of the deal. So if you, for example, buy a tea with a really nice packaging, like super luxe, super special, cool looking, expensive, and then the tea is really bad and falls apart or has no taste or is bitter, then the packaging was misleading. And the idea is you need to communicate the price and the quality of your product through the packaging and for them to actually fit and match.
So judging a book by its cover.
Frankly. That's basically what it does.
The solution for this in development is to use placeholders until the moment that you can't anymore. If those placeholders actually fulfill the game loop and what you want the game to look like and to feel like, then you can start adding particle effects and trails and all sorts of animations and effects.
If you're interested in more of these type of videos, let us know in the comments and tell us if you are struggling with any pitfalls, because I'm sure we've been there. Leave a like and share and subscribe to our channel if you're interested in this type of content, and hope to see you back here.
Bye.
Bye. This is the first...
As she mentioned.
And for me, it just sounds like...
It's a bit gibberish.
Yes, it's what we try to implement in our what